Bueno, hola Luca, hola a todo el equipo, hola a toda la gente que está conectada. Bueno, muchas gracias ante todo por el espacio. Vamos a switchar directamente a inglés, como habíamos prepactado para este encuentro. Well, now, hi people, and thanks Luca from Aperitivo Financiero for the invitation. Well, I am very proud to be host today. We are going to have a very interesting AMA. Yes, here we are with Nick from Coorest and Matthias from Xave. It's a pleasure, guys, to be here with you. Thanks for the time. Thanks for several day today. And well, we are going to talk about both projects, yes, and how the technology help us with our lives. Not only to see social media or another apps, yes, we are going to see how blockchain tech could help for a better environment and how collaboration between companies of the crypto space can share and contribute to the environment. So now, like we say, let's go to business. Well, I think Nick, you are going to start, yes? Nick, first of all, I want to ask something. Please come tell us what is Coorest, yes? We'll explain how the alliance between Xave and Coorest start. What is the previous vision of both companies that made the partnership a reality?
Yeah, first of all, thank you for inviting me. It's a nice opportunity to talk about the subject and the company. So yeah, one of our team members, Alejandro, introduced basically us to Xave. He's also based in Argentina, so we can call him the Latin connection. And he saw the opportunity basically for a collaboration between Coorest and Xave to make a synergy based on sustainability, because the Coorest is planting trees, and we connect those trees to NFTs, calling them NFTs, and those NFTs can be utilized in metaverses such as Xave. And by this collaboration, we are creating a sustainable partnership that brings real-world trees into Xave's metaverse, making it a green and sustainable platform. So the core of the collaborations is to bring green freshness and good trees to Xave.
Yes, and Mati, what is Xave version about this? Yes.
First of all, thank everyone for being here. Thank Binance Live and Luca and everyone and Nick for being here and make this happen. In Xave, we are a project based on music and entertainment, and our vision was always related to music, was to try to bring to use the blockchain technology as a tool to make things happen for the industry of music, giving tools to make things happen in real world that weren't available to for lack of resources and all that. And within the team, we always thought that the potential of this technology to actually make an impact in several ways in the world, being helping communities or helping the environment. And that's where the synergy between Xave and Coorest started, and the connection was immediate, and we created an entire forest within our metaverse with 2,000 trees to make this happen, to offer these NFTs and this model that Coorest offers to actually show that blockchain can have an impact that translates from the virtual world to the real world, and actually having an impact in this case into helping the environment and removing CO2 from the environment. So this is the beginning, and this shows the potential that this technology actually has to go from the digital world in order to help the real world in many ways. So it's inspiring, and we are very happy to be part of this partnership. And again, this is only the start with Xave Forest presenting the NFTs of Coorest.
Excellent, Matthew. Well, Nick, I want to ask to you for the people who are now into the meeting, yes, into the Binance Live. I want to ask you, what is Coorest? Yes, what is Coorest? What was the principal function of Coorest in the world? Yes, in the crypto world, in Web3, and in the traditional world. Yes.
Yeah. So Coorest is a decentralized application for carbon compensation. So what we do is we connect trees to the blockchain as NFTs, and those NFTs, they generate CO2 token. And those CO2 tokens are a reflection of the actual CO2 that is being absorbed by the trees. Because we know how much CO2 approximately is absorbed by the trees that we plant, we can translate that into tokens. And therefore we can make absorbed CO2 fungible as a token. And we can use those tokens, either trade it or to generate what we call a proof of carbon compensation certificate. So then the CO2 token gets burned, and in return you get an NFT that holds data about the carbon compensation event. So the name, the reason for compensating CO2, the amount, and the date. And we can basically store all that information on chain. So you can trace the compensation back to the trees that are actually absorbing the CO2. Yeah, and we are utilizing blockchain technology in combination with satellite technology to show that the trees are actually there, right? So we have a partner that helps us monitor the trees that we plant ourselves or that we onboard from other projects. And we use that to validate the CO2 token minting, so we can enhance transparency about the trees. Because you see a lot of projects in the space that claim that they are doing good and planting trees, but we decided, okay, we want to enhance that with satellite technology and create a decentralized platform that allows people to own a single tree or own a plot of forest and generate their own CO2 tokens. And at the same time, we have our own standard that is the Coorest Carbon Standard, and that allows us also to onboard projects and farmers globally that plant trees. So we onboard them so they can generate their own CO2 tokens that other companies can buy to compensate. So we're basically a decentralized platform for carbon compensation.
Okay, Nick. Well, Coorest, I know that you are working with the regulation, with 2013 regulation of Europe. I know you are preparing in a scenario for that, no?
Yeah, correct. So in Europe, they set certain goals to reduce emissions, but in the end of the day, we are a fossil fuel-based economy, so you cannot go to zero. So at this, because if we stop using fossil fuels, yeah, we have to stop life. So that's not possible. So and in order to compensate for the emissions, we came up with this concept. So companies can reduce emissions, but what is left over, we can help them to compensate the emissions. So they are net zero. That is basically what we are allowing other companies to do.
Thanks, Nick. And Matty, well, Xave, in this case, how collaborate, yes, to reduce the pollution, to reduce with Coorest, I know you have much there, but we want to understand more about that, about more the usability of the token. Yes, you can tell us more about that.
Yeah, of course. First, connecting with the last thing that Nick said, we are a company as well. So we are creating a metaverse. Therefore, we created the Xave Forest, and the Xave Forest has a station in its center, so it's related to the industry that the metaverse is all about. But we understood that the forest was to help the environment to apply the model of Coorest within our metaverse. But at the same time, we will be selling lands. And we decided that adding a tree as a symbol in each land will help us to, while selling lands, with that money, acquiring NFTs as a company, because we contaminate as well. So not only offering the user to be able to through this digital environment to help the environment, the actual planet, but to have the chance ourselves as a company to remove our own footprint, because we know we contaminate as well, even doing this. So we need to compensate that, and because of the synergy that we talked about before, and because how inspiring for us is this project, we wanted to be in as well. So adding trees to the lands allow us to sell those lands, and with that money to buy trees for ourselves and remove our footprint. And in terms of the metaverse itself and the environment that we created, we wanted to create a special place that actually gives the experience, a new experience to the user, that involves music, that involves entertainment, but is surrounded by a natural environment, that the user understands that this is the place where I can enjoy music, but at the same time, I own one of the trees or more, which are NFTs, and I help the planet by doing this. Aside from being in this metaverse, especially in this metaverse, to enjoy music and because I'm a music fan, but that one thing doesn't remove the other, and give this extra experience for the user that can not only be involved in meeting their favorite artists or being able to presence their favorite shows, but at the same time to have the experience to help the planet through the model of Coorest, and at the same time that being the first of many actions, because we strongly believe that this is an example of what blockchain has to offer, and the actual help and the actual benefit that this industry and this technology behind this industry can create and based on an impact on the actual world. For many industries, being attached to entertainment or not, it doesn't matter. This is proof that this technology is not only for the creation of collectibles or speculation, but also to entertain people and to translate that in actual impact to the real world. And this is something that we understand, but we need to promote. And we need to make people understand. We are in Binance now, so we can make the example of the Binance Academy, the Binance Fund, the Binance charity. There are a lot of things that could be done, and Binance is an example of that, using this technology and basing ourselves within this technology, aside from the project that we have and the offering of music in our case, to take advantage of the platform that we are using and making available to help as much as possible to a real world.
Excellent, Mati. Excellent. Yes, I know. I think it's necessary to promote all the education into the blockchain industry, because we have different situations around the world. Yes, this past year is a very particular year for the ecosystem. Yes, for the crypto industry. And now, when we talked before a few days ago, Nick, about this, you tell me that tourists are working on that, are working on the education to people. Yes, not only to reduce the pollution or the impact into the planet. Yes, because if we have more new solutions, more practice solutions to the world, yes, not only it's not only for the technology for entertainment, yes, we can use it for example, for environment solution that we talked before. How Coorest today using this to educate the people or the ecosystem today?
Yeah, so because we focus on carbon compensation, and we talk a lot to also regular businesses, non-crypto, because in the end of the day, the majority of the need of carbon compensation is by non-crypto companies, regular companies that pollute a lot. So yeah, we are basically educating in every sales pitch that we do to sell NFTs to regular companies and explain them the benefits of buying an NFT compared to other solutions that are non-blockchain based. And at the same time, we also do that to regular individuals because our technology allows people to buy a single NFT or 1,000. It doesn't matter. So everyone can contribute because the blockchain technology basically allows us to fractionalize a farm or a forest, and you can buy up to a single tree if you want. And yeah, education is really important because you need to have certain knowledge about blockchain and wallets to interact with the NFTs. Yeah, and I consider it a daily activity in my job, the whole education about sustainability and the blockchain tech, because they go hand in hand. And it's super fun to do that. It's not always easy, to be honest, to explain blockchain technology, because it can be quite overwhelming, right? If you say, yeah, we bring trees to the blockchain as NFTs, they generate CO2 tokens, and you can convert it to certificates, and use satellite data via Chainlink oracles to check if the trees are really there. So you have to do it slowly, step by step, to not overwhelm people, because sometimes it can be so overwhelming. But if you go, especially, I have the tendency maybe to make it a bit too technical, that people can get a bit overwhelmed.
Well, thanks, Nick. Well, now Luca is saying to me that we have more than 1,400 people connect now. Well, excellent. Well, Matti, first of all, I have a question.
Yeah.
People in the chat, they're
Yes.
saying, how does the technology help to carry out a sustainable project in the real world?
I think part of that answer is yet to be known. I think it's more related to, as Nick was saying, trying to reach as much people as possible, and to, because we understand, because we are moving into this world, but we've been through this. We've been through this overwhelming feeling. So we need to understand that, and to create the tools to attract people and to make people learn in the easiest possible way, for them to the fastest way possible apply to be part of it and feel safe that they are actually creating an impact or participating in the right way, but making comfortable. And by comfortable, I mean understandable and easy to implement. So by doing that, more people will come, more people will be involved into this, and the impact will grow exponentially. Not only the attendance of people in the different metaverses related to their interests, but to proposals like Xave and Coorest are creating within our metaverse, and Coorest is doing by all his. I think it's a matter of bringing people in, and the impact will be measured from that point and beyond. But the vision is very clear. What we can do, what it seems to be limitless right now, the amount of things that we can create, because the more we move forward with Coorest, in our experience, the more ideas came around, and the more ideas keep coming. And the same will happen when this opens up and the public grows in the different spaces, and the different industries. Because it's not only about users, it's about companies also understanding how powerful this can be, how big an impact they can create by using this kind of technology and partnering with people like Nick, and they will create a major impact that then will translate into more people getting interested in this and wanting to participate, and they will be able to measure the actual impact. But it's not only people and what we call regular users that we need to educate, but companies. I believe that they have the obligation, in a way, to at least try to be part of this and try to learn what this technology has to offer and the impact they are powerful enough to create.
Well, and Nick, what's your opinion on this? I know you are an expert on that.
My vision of the future. Well, I think my vision is that you will see all kinds of new combinations between different blockchain projects, and I think you will see many more real world use cases find their way into the space, especially into metaverses. Yeah, I think you guys are an example of that, where you focus on the music industry. Okay, we bring in trees, we have a whole new combination, but many more combinations will follow, and I think that is the power of blockchain, because you can build on top of each other. That also allows you to create the what was impossible before. We are as Coorest, we are focused on bringing real world utility, focused on the environment to the blockchain. Yesterday we had an announcement for the development of insurance for farmers, but I know that in the future other data also will become available that will allow us to build other products. Personally, we use satellite data, but I can imagine for the music industry, you will also have other data streams available that allows you to build other things that you can utilize in the metaverse. And this is just a start. And I can only look ahead maybe a few months, 1 year. It's like the technology is developing so fast, and that I cannot say what is possible in 5 years. I think it will be even crazier than I have in my mind. You say, wow, can we do that as well? And now we have a combination of trees and music, but many other amazing combinations will follow.
Well, I have another question here in the chat. Here asked me how the idea of Coorest born. The first one for you.
How the idea of Coorest?
Exactly. Yes.
Started.
Exactly.
Well, that is actually an interesting story, because I started moving into the crypto space only recently. I started in 2020. I wasn't active at all, and then I started doing some courses at the Morales Blockchain Academy. I went really deep into the tech, and then I started going into DeFi, decentralized finance. I got in contact with another company that I'm still active for, that tokenizes precious metals, called Coorest. And then it opened my eyes to bringing real world assets to the blockchain. You can do that with gold, silver, platinum. And then I read some articles about all the CO2 compensation and the goals that they're setting. And then it hit me like, hey, we can bring actual trees to the blockchain and separate the CO2 from the trees with the system of tokens. And then I started to write a white paper. And then I just started participating in hackathons and looking for developers to build it, to build the first prototype. That's basically how it started, with an idea I had by reading and connecting the dots from, okay, what can we do with NFTs except linking it to JPEGs and pictures? Because I was already seeing that, okay, we have to go into real world utility. And then somehow I got the idea of bringing the trees to the blockchain and creating a token around it. Sometimes how do you get ideas? They sometimes arrive in your head by reading and connecting the dots, and then you get, I don't know, inspired out of the blue, and you start chasing the idea because you think there's something there, and look for people that can help you build, especially developers, because I'm not a developer myself, but I understand enough about the technology to work together with developers and create something. So this is basically how it started.
Excellent, Niga. Another question here said that how the revolution helped to Coorest, or how the Europe revolution helps Coorest.
The European regulation, you mean? It's all government. This market is driven by government policies, because they determine the goals, and companies need to comply with it. So if they, because now, for example, they have meetings again in Davos, and they have European Union meetings, and they have the Paris Agreement Accords, and they set goals, and that basically drives all the companies, because they have to comply with the law, and that creates opportunities for companies like us. And people are also demanding to become green, because they also see that a lot of pollution has been going on, and we are neglecting the earth to extract minerals, extract oil, and people want to see a change. And that forces companies to make the change, and that helps us to create a business around it.
Excellent, Nick. Thanks. And Mati, how the idea of Xave started? Yes, how the idea of Xave started?
Well, something very similar but related to music. First of all, our background of the original team some years ago. Our strongest background is in music, in the music industry and traditional media industry, and we started off as an OTT platform with video on demand of music and any kind of musical content. But we always had the vision on two main visions: how to make fans closer to the artists, and how to help upcoming artists, because we are going through a very similar stage, a very similar crisis in the music industry that happened before, where the room is very narrow for upcoming artists to actually, and we thought that social media was going to be helpful for that, but in the end, it's not. So blockchain technology, the idea to create a metaverse and the possibility to create a metaverse connected all the dots that we have been built with no clue of how to actually put it in place. We explored the creation of virtual reality content. We've been through all over the place, and everything actually helped then to build this under this technology. The metaverse was the click, was the solution to everything, and the technology that allow us to make the fans closer to the artists, to create tools, to develop tools that actually will help the artists to have in the virtual world venues that they will never dream of to have in real life, like a stage like the one behind me. Maybe for an upcoming artist, this will be impossible to have this kind of stage on a beach in front of thousands of people. The metaverse can make that happen, and actually can make their fan base grow in the real world. And from a series of tools, actually helping that artist to translate what is possible in the metaverse to actually make it happen in the real world, and eventually have access to finance their own venue like they never had it before, and be completely independent and focusing on only making their art and making their art known. We needed just to create, it sounds simple by using the word just, but to develop the tools and the environment to make that happen, to make that vision happen. But the more we went into it, and the more we go into it, because this is a work in progress and we don't see an end to the ideas that we have. But this was everything that we think about, we thought about in the past, and we think about now and towards the future is feasible, it's possible, or we see it possible. It's just a matter of a roadmap and time, but eventually it's possible. And I'll go back eventually to the importance of blockchain. You start to discover that, then you find synergy with a company like Coorest, and you are able to create a forest within a musical environment and make a reality. This idea of limitless and the endless possibilities, it's what drives us every day. That's how Xave was born, thinking about the music industry, upcoming artists, knowing that major artists have a solution for every problem that comes around the industry. And the main decision of starting things off and to accelerate in full was the pandemic, because every problem that the music industry already had was enhanced by the pandemic, and hurt especially small and upcoming artists. And while we were working on this project, and to this day, I have meetings with potential partners that had nothing to do with music. The company does, but the guy that I'm talking about is from the marketing department, and I get this a lot. I'm a DJ. I'm a musician. I play the guitar. They find themselves potential users to the metaverse and potential musicians, or make for fun or for actually a career. They see a channel and they see a possibility that blows my mind, and my chest is out of my body when I hear something like that, because I translate that to the users that we aim to have.
Interesting, Mati. You say something now. You say something that about today. It's very useful, the NFT, for not only a collections. No, we are going to see another useful or usability for the NFT. You're hoping, or you're analyzing different scenarios, yes, in future for the NFTs here in Xave and Nick in Coorest.
Yeah. Well, I'll start things off very quickly. I don't punish the idea of a collectible because I'm a fan of music, and if one of the bands that I love launches something collectible and I have the possibility to have it, I'll have it and I'll hang it in my wall. So, and I'm not against the speculative thing, something that you buy and eventually grows in value and you sell it. That's all right. What I feel more attracted to is the possibilities that this technology has in a form of an NFT, for example, that potentially can have a major impact in many ways, in many industries, in many aspects of our society, our world in its entirety, being a problem or not, fixing a problem, or actually helping to something be better. not just attacking the problem, but in urgencies like climate change and the ecosystem. I think it's a starting point. I think that the NFTs shouldn't stop being what they are, but bring the possibility of what they could become. That's the main observation, and that's the main usage I will try to educate people to use the NFTs for. By doing that, they will understand the rest of it. What the NFT is all about and what a collectible is, and if it grew in value, they can resell it. That's simple to understand. The potential and how to use it, that's where we need to be as pragmatic, as simple as possible to educate people. Sorry, Nick, it took long. You go.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, Matthias. I personally love NFTs. I don't know how to value pictures, but I love them. It's nice, and the industry is evolving so fast that I cannot focus on all projects anymore. It's becoming so big. And personally, I'm more focused on projects that bring real world assets to the blockchain in whatever shape. Is it cars or insurances or houses? I find that interesting, especially if they enable people that didn't have access before to financial products, and really helps them get access to those products. That for me is a real world utility that helps humanity grow, basically. I'm getting more and more focused on, okay, what can we do as a company to enable farmers from developing countries? And I'm really interested to explore, okay, how can we give them access to capital so people can grow their business, buy land, plant more trees, grow trees that also produce food, and get an income, and so they can employ people and really be an impulse for the local economy. Because I think there's still a lot of ground to be gained there. Because if I compare farming in developing countries and how it goes in the Netherlands, where I'm from, those farmers, they all have access to developed banking systems. They can get loans to get equipment or buy more land. And in the developing countries, that is all non-existent. So I hope we can go there and open up that whole world, and connect those farmers to a new financial system. And NFT is just for me, it's just a tool in that sense. So yeah, I'm really going to focus on that in the for the next couple of years, basically.
Thanks, Nick. Well, I have another question from both communities. I haven't. This is a good one. Yes. Yes. What did Xave see from Coorest, and what Coorest see from Xave to work together? Yes. Mati,
do you want to start? I'll start because I have the answer in my head. And I'll give you a quick example that relates to what I saw in the very beginning. Right now, I'm from Argentina. I'm based in Argentina. Right now, Argentina, the main fields of Argentina, where all the plantations are, that brings food for millions of people all over the world, it's going through a dry out that is not unique in our history. It's becoming a pattern. So the moment I see a news like that, since I met Coorest as a project, I think immediately in Coorest, in their technology, in what we can do about it. And I'm this chief product officer of a metaverse related to music, but that's why I'm not saying that just our partnership is works, but it's inspiring. And everything that you hear about and has a relationship with the environment, Coorest came around immediately. What I saw from the very beginning is that it's a bit subjective. It's not a factual. Then it became a fact for me. But the first time I went to their website and had the first calls, I saw that the entire project was built with somewhat by people that believed in the project. You can see that when you relate to that, because we are a team that believes in what we're doing. Now that we see the business line, and we are not interested in the music industry, but we see money behind it. No, we believe in the project. We believe in what you're doing. We know artists. I used to work in traditional media, filming upcoming artists I was a producer, and they were thankful for the opportunity. So when you believe in what you're doing, anything you explore about a project, being the website itself and how it's built, how the project covers every angle on the blog, I read everything on the blog. I felt that the synergy was inevitable, and that we needed to do something about with Coorest, because we thought about it before. This is potentially the same way we can help artists. We can help the world in many ways. We need to find how and with who, and that's where Coorest showed up. And the moment that I met the project, this is the way to go.
Yeah, and from our side, yeah, it's really basically a use case example of like, okay, this, we can work together with Xave to show the world, okay, this is possible, right? So I personally, I love music, and then if we can create an environment that is linked to real world trees, and that is a platform for upcoming artists to promote themselves, and at the same time everybody realizes, hey, this has a real world connection. I think it's awesome, right? Because who would ever thought that was even possible? A few years ago, nobody would have thought about it. Anyways, I didn't even think I would be doing this 2 years ago, and here we are. And I think because the music industry are creative people, right? So I'm sure we will come up with new ideas, and I think the partnership will also be one big brainstorming session. So we will start with trees, okay, and then something new will pop up. I'm sure about that, because creativity comes when you have two different expertise and you put them together, and then something new comes. And that was the first metaverse with artists and NFTs. And I'm sure that also the community will have many ideas, right? Because this is also typical crypto. You start something, and then the community has seen the potential, and they will start driving innovation, and then we go in a direction that nobody of us had ever seen as possible. So yeah, I'm basically just open to also see where the community wants to go.
Thanks, Nick. Thanks, Matty. Well, I have another. Well, this is an interesting question for the entrepreneur. Yes, there are many people who have ideas of being able to improve the world, and perhaps ignorance or fear holds them back. Okay, that is something they have to go through. But what would you say to those people, Matty and me?
It's a hard one. It's a hard one because I personally believe that said something like that before. Is find the right people. It takes time. I come from a whole different industry. As Nick said, I never imagined 6 years ago to be here not only to be here, to be around this industry and to be able to apply my expertise in music or especially traditional media into these kinds of platforms. But it's eventually finding the right people to build something. That's the very first step, to have an idea, to have a goal, believe in that idea, and then to surround yourself with people that is smarter than you. So they take things in their own hands and you can move with them, not just micromanagement, but to find people that is smarter than you, that can bring things to the table, and you can build from there. It will take time. Hopefully less time than it took to us. Maybe a little more. But if you're convinced on what you're doing, as we are, eventually surround yourself with smarter people than you and people capable of doing your dream come true from different areas. This is applicable for everything. In our case, in projects like ours, as Nick said, developers that believe in the project, that can give you the first hints. And when you start seeing that the idea that you have in your head becomes a reality, first in an image, then some sort of video, and things start to move very fast after that. It takes time, but that's the way to go. And if you believe in it, stick to it.
Yeah, that's totally true. I mean, the fear is, I think, always there. You know, if you start, you never know. Okay, are people going to like my product? Will it work? Will I get the funding? And you just have to. You need to have a big vision, but also set smaller, attainable goals for yourself. Otherwise, you can get overwhelmed. And this is also a classical startup mistake, is that you want to do too many things at the same time. It happened to us as well. You just need to focus on what you think you're really good at, and also think about what will drive revenue. How can I go to market fastest? With what product can I start selling? Because in the end of the day, you're a company that needs to create revenue and be profitable. Otherwise, you run out of cash. So you have to create something as fast as possible, and get the elements in place. And at the same time, yeah, don't be too afraid to fail, because sometimes you want to spend too much time to perfectionize everything. But especially if you build something new that did not exist before, you can never have it perfect. You accept that there's also flaws, that there will be bugs, and that there will be mistakes. But also be accountable if something breaks or goes wrong, because especially in the crypto space, things go wrong all the time. So be prepared also to be criticized, you know, because you will be out there in the open. You're trying something new. You might fall, and then you have to get back on your feet and continue and focus on the goal. And yeah, surround yourself with good people. And if you discover that that it's really hard, you have to accept, okay, to build a company, you have to work 80, 100 hours a week. You know, there's no easy way. That's for sure. You have to have that mindset, like, okay, the next couple of years are going to be this and this only.
Absolutely. 3 years without holiday, without any vacation whatsoever. And I want to add something more that I picked up from what Nick said. Accept failure, because it's part of the process. Embrace it and actually be happy, because once you make a mistake, that mistake won't happen again. And that's part of building. Building is not always something that was smaller getting bigger. If you put several bricks into a wall and the wall falls, you were placing the bricks in the wrong way. you will have to start over that wall, but the second wall will be way solid and permanent for your project. So it takes time, takes blood, but don't punish yourself for the mistakes you make, because it's part of the journey. And like I said before, and one of my partners agrees always, enjoy the ride. This is fundamental to be able to survive it. Enjoy the ride, because you will be suffering, you will be putting a lot of effort, leaving a lot of things aside in your personal life, but enjoy the journey, because it's in the end. I'm not talking about success. It's worth it to go. So enjoy the journey.
I have another question, but before, at the end, we are going to share a code, yes, where we are giving some gift to the community, yes, for being here in the EMA. Well, the last question, I think it's very, very important question, that it was, what is the future plan of both companies?
Okay, yeah, I can elaborate on that. The future plan is to get regular crypto companies to use NFTs and the CO2 tokens. That is our main goal for this year. And if we look further down the road, yeah, we have a Coorest token. We want to do an IDO with the token, because the token, I want to have it out there. Because the token, it will start to generate staking rewards that will be paid out in CO2 tokens. So I think it's nice to have a token that gives you actual CO2 that you can use. So that is the goal for this year. And further down the road, we want to integrate more satellite data about the trees, and use that on chain to show, okay, the trees are doing well, but also show more data about CO2 absorption. And we are going to build an extra layer as a proof of reserve for the tokens via Chainlink. And then we have the insurance product that we are developing together with EtherRisk, that we want to get in production as soon as possible, and get farmers to know globally that these opportunities are now here for them to use. Because if you look at developing countries, nobody knows that we exist and that we can bring added value to them. So that will be a large push that needs to happen to get our name out there and connect us to farmers, especially in developing countries. Yeah, that's basically the future of Coorest.
Thanks, Nick. Thanks, Mati.
Well, if we divide it in the next 2 years, this year, 2023, the goal is to launch the second version of our demo, upgrading and opening the different areas of our metaverse, which is in the whole concept is divided in 4 main cities and a system of islands. So the idea is in 2023 to keep developing the product and keep building community. For us, community brings users, brings upcoming artists, and we need to build community because we need the community to see the product that we developed and the usability that the product has to them. For just being a user that enjoys an open world game-like experience in a format of a metaverse, what we are, and to be able to grow that platform of community, to show them every step of the product and to try it out and to bring ideas to the table. The brainstorming of the users and brainstorming of the artists is fundamental for us. Keep developing the product, which is our main goal, because in 2024 we want to have the first version of the full metaverse fully functional. So the idea is to keep developing, to keep opening spaces. This year, the idea in the next few months is to open the first events within the metaverse. One of them being the event that is going to be related to the taking care of the environment, and it will be happening within the Xave forest that we have been talking about. But hosting events and starting to invite people from the second version of the demo that is a few weeks away from launch to actually see what the Xave world is all about and the direction we're going. The more people that we can show that, the more people will join us in this journey for the next 2 years until we complete the vision that we have, the entirety of the continent, and all the functions that we want to put in place, that we know that we are going to put in place as today, knowing that it will grow and that we will be adding new things along the way. But from now, we want to make it happen, to grow the community and to make what we already have in agenda, to make it happen and to finish the metaverse. And from there on, the possibilities are endless, and the more it grows, it will be part of the community, and it will be in charge of the community. How and in which direction the metaverse, our metaverse, grew, and I will keep growing. It will be in their hands. We will therefore help and to create new tools and all the education that is needed for people to be part of the metaverse. But when we talk about community being part of the Xave world metaverse and becoming the main stage of the metaverse, we mean it. And it will be in charge of the musicians and users and artists and entrepreneurs in general to be part of the metaverse and be part of how the metaverse grows in the future.
Well, thanks, Mati. Thanks, Nick. Well, here we see two examples that how the technology helps to us to create a new company, to be an entrepreneur, how the technology helps not only people. We can help the environment. We can help to educate a lot of people. Well, this example, this meeting is an example. This live is an example. Thanks to Binance Live for this space. Thanks, Luca, for the space. Well, we are in time. Voy a despedir también en español. Yo sé que Nick también me entiende porque algo habla de español también. Así que bueno, agradezco también a todos los que se han sumado. Agradezco a Luca también por habernos dedicado acá el espacio con aperitivo financiero. And well, we are going to see in the next opportunity. Bye, people. Bye, bye.
Bye, everyone. Adiós.
All right. Adiós, amigos.